Hello, I am presenting Kurzweil's Law of Accelerating Returns based off of the essays and papers he has written. This entire PowerPoint is written and narrated by me, Callie George. In 2005, Kurzweil wrote a book, called The Singularity is Near. This book detailed most of the events of human history, including many in this graph, going all the way back as the existence of life, as far back as we have documented life on this planet. Then going up to when vertebrates came along, and then primates, and then humans, specialized stone tools, and it starts to have a bit of a snowball effect, all the way up to it ends at the personal computer. From both the x and y axis of the graph, you can see that from the dawn of life on Earth all the way up to the last recorded event, the personal computer, advancement is exponential. You can see this both on the x and the y, and that's why the graph in general looks to be a fairly straight line, because both of the x and the y are accounting for that exponential growth of what is happening. Now, it doesn't just apply to biologic components. This is the logarithmic plot that he used to explain these. So it also applies to technology. This is the same logarithmic plot, just truly showing what is going on right now. Between the year 1900 and the last recorded events right around 2008, this is showing the advancement from the electromechanical computers all the way up to the integrated circuit. And on the y-axis are the calculations per second, and the x-axis is the year. This is also exponential. We can see from the very, very first computers had 10 to the -5th calculations per second, and the most recent are hovering around 10 to the 10th calculations per second. Just for some context, the human brain has about 10 to the 25th computations per second. That's not accounting for all human brains, but we all hover right around that 10 to the 25th mark. So from this, he extrapolated that if we continue along this path, with the existence of artificial intelligence now, it is a guaranteed point that at some point, artificial intelligence will surpass humanity in terms of literal computational power. There are many things that come from this, but he put it as a guaranteed certainty that as long as everything continues growing exponentially as the way that it has been, artificial intelligence is going to surpass humanity. And what is going to come from that? He calls it the singularity. That's why he calls the book The Singularity is Near. He pulled that term at the time from physics, because in physics it means, in simplest terms, a point where the laws of physics no longer apply. Based on every metric and measurement, the laws of physics seem to just break at a single point. The best example we have of this is, of course, the black hole, which is why they're trying to explain that in physics. But he adapted the term to be kind of a social community, cultural singularity, where everything that we have known up until this point would simply break because of just how fast AI would be able to think. Now, he's not the first person to think of this concept, certainly not. We are all familiar with advancement of AI and them possibly being smarter than humans. So what happens after that singularity? Many have theorized this, and he himself says that he does not know. We cannot know what happens after a singularity, just as we do not know what happens on the other side of a black hole. Many have theorized as to what's going to happen next. What happens after? Well, the most obvious, once AI reaches that point, is that people just assume that there will be an AI takeover in the style of Terminator. That we will create them either to be subservient to us or even as an equal to us, and they will realize that they are smarter than us, that they can think faster than us, that they have the technological edge over us, and they will take over the planet. This can be best seen in the conversation between the AIs Jarvis and Ultron in the Age of Ultron movie from Marvel. You can quite literally see one being subservient and the other learning very quickly where his place is with society. The other end of it is, what if AI is more similar to humanity, and they just want to help. They want to be friendly. They just are a new form of life. And if they are truly just at their core not evil, or there is a third option that many don't consider, is what if they're both? If they are a new form of life, technological life, what if some are inherently good, such as our main character Wally, some are inherently evil, such as the piloting system? What if they're just like people? Some people are good, some people are bad. So that is what's being theorized right now. It could go one way, it could go the other way, but it is guaranteed that as long as things are progressing the way they are, which they've seemed to be for over the past 100 years, that AI is going to become smarter than humanity, and one of these three things is most likely to happen. If you have any further questions, I found all of this in his essays on his website, especially the page here about the law of accelerating returns. Go ahead and visit that if you have any further questions. Thank you for listening.